Thank you, Terry, for that awesome introduction. Okay, my name is Ricky Blacker. I'm going to tell you how WordPress changed my life. But firstly, a little bit about me. Now, warning, there are going to be some close-up photos of my face, so it's not real pretty, but here we go. My name is Ricky Blacker. I'm the father of two beautiful daughters. There they are there. You can see the onesie. I play in a rock band, which is about as cool as I get. Play keyboards. We do a lot of gigs around Brisbane, around that kind of area. I co-organise a lot of meetups. It's kind of like a bit of an addiction for me. So there's the WordPress Brisbane, WordPress Sunshine Coast, and Brisbane Web Design. I have a small business called Data Guru, in which I create websites with WordPress. But how did I get here? I mean, here I am at WordCamp Sydney talking. How did I get to this place? And that's what I want to talk about. To do that, we've got to go back in time. Way back to 2013. Okay, so it wasn't that long ago, and that's probably why I want to give this talk. It's been 3 years. And this is where my journey started with WordPress. Back in 2013, I was actually working in a factory, making cardboard, big 4-ton rolls of cardboard. I worked there at that stage, I'd been working there for 19 years. I had a small computer repair business that I ran on the side when I needed a bit of hobby money. And I really wanted to get into IT or web design or anything, but I was stuck in a job working in the factory. But on the 18th of February 2013, they called a big meeting and told us that they were going to shut the place down. We had 8 months to sort of restructure our lives and get another job. I straight away decided I was going to become something to do with computers or web design or something. I didn't know really what I was going to do. At that stage too, I was a very passionate video game player. First-person shooters, Minecraft, anything pretty much. And I spent a lot of time playing games. There's probably some people who in here plays games. Okay, you know how much time it sucks out of you. A lot. But I had to study. I had to learn a lot of stuff, because up until that point, I'd only been doing this as a hobby, so I really figured I had to, get the chops, learn a lot of stuff. So video games, had to go. So, and even to this day, I don't really play video games. I've bought a brand new video game just recently. I've played it for like an hour. And it's like an addiction. I'm too scared to play video games now because I know I'll just get sucked back in. So anyway, I studied a lot. And I heard about CMSs, because at that stage I was making websites out of static HTML, CSS, so using Notepad. And I could make a website, but it wasn't real good. And I heard about these CMS things. So I did a bit of study on them. And I found there was 3 CMSs, 3 main ones, which was WordPress, Drupal, and Joomla. And I studied and I read reviews, and I tried to find one that would be a clear winner. And I found one. Joomla. Nah, just kidding. It was WordPress. Every review I read just pointed to WordPress. So, I mean, at this stage I knew nothing about WordPress or Joomla or Drupal other than all the reviews. I've never used it. I was just trying to find something as a base point to learn about it. So WordPress became the winner, and I went head into it, full pelt, learning. When I was doing studying, I trolled the net, as we do, for as much information as I could find, and lynda.com, I found a lot of videos from them, so I actually joined up lynda.com, and I was doing a lot of the HTML, CSS stuff. But once I decided to go into WordPress, I found Morten Rand Hendrickson, which he does a lot of the WordPress stuff on lynda.com. And he's kind of like one of my heroes. A lot of the stuff that I do in WordPress now is because of what he's taught me. Might not be right, but that's what he's taught me, that's what I've learnt, and that's what I do. So I did all these courses, learned as much as I could, and then it came time. I had to actually install WordPress. So off I went. I uploaded it to my test server. I filled in all the information, and I built a website. It might not have been as pretty as that, but I built a website. Now, up until this point, I've been doing everything HTML, CSS, and it would take me a couple of days to get something like that. I had a 5-page website, and the reason why I used that image because it wasn't pretty. It wasn't a polished website, but this is my first WordPress website. But I think it was something like 2 or 3 hours I had a fully functioning website. And I was amazed. I thought, man, this is just so easy. Anyone could do this. And that's when me and WordPress nearly parted ways, because my logic at that stage was, I just did this in like 2 hours, 3 hours tops. Anyone can do this. Anyone. Who is going to pay me to do that? Really. It just, in my mind, I thought, it's never going to work. But I talked to some people, and they convinced me otherwise, and a love affair emerged. Me and WordPress. So I've been using WordPress ever since. And people do pay me to build websites. It was at that stage too, I Googled something one day and found a meetup group. I think it was for WordPress. Or it could have been for web design. But I joined it, and then I found another one, and another one, and another one. And I went along to my first meetup group. The first meetup group I went to was the Brisbane Web Design Group. And they were talking about WordPress that night, so it was sort of a good thing. I had a bit of both. When I got there was a lot of people. You get about 70 people on average to one of these meetups. And while the actual talks, so you have 2 talks, which is fine. I actually sat at the front of the audience, which is not like me, but I thought I want to learn, I want to get involved. But at the end, everybody goes to a pub and socialises. And there was a lot of people there, and I wouldn't believe it, but I'm actually a pretty shy person. Normally in that situation, I would have just gone home. But I knew if I didn't get past this, I wouldn't get involved with this group and I wouldn't learn as much. So I mustered up all my courage and I asked somebody, hey, where's this pub we go to? And he said, oh yeah, follow me. And I walked with him to the pub and we talked. But when we got there, he sort of went and found some friends and talked to them, and there was everybody in groups, and I was just a little bit left out. It was hard. It was really hard because I'm a shy person, and there was all these. You know what it's like when you go to a group and everybody's in their little cliquey groups. They're all talking to each other, and you're sort of standing there trying to get in on a conversation, and no one really wants to talk to you because they think, who's this creepy guy? But I kept going. Every month I'd go without fail. Every month I'd go to that pub. Every month I'd stand in the background, waiting for somebody to say hello. And every now and then somebody would say hello. But it took a long time, but eventually I made some friends. And a lot of those friends are in the audience today, and they're amongst some of the best friends I've got in my life. They shaped the way that I am right now and made me a better person. And it was all because I pushed myself out of my little comfort zone. With these new friends came a lot of information, like if you ever get a chance to go to a WordCamp, do it. Lo and behold, Sydney was holding a WordCamp in a couple of months' time from when somebody told me about WordCamps. So I weighed up all my options. Should I go to this WordCamp? I had to fly to Sydney, get accommodation. The price of a ticket was cheap. It was $50. I mean, who can't afford that? So I did it. Best decision I ever made in my life. Who's here for the first time on the WordCamp? Who's going to go to a WordCamp again? How can you beat it? $50, a free t-shirt, an awesome after party, and a hangover on Sunday. It's just the best thing ever. When I was there, I watched a lot of people talking, including my good friend Luke here. And it was actually something that Luke said, which got me onto a bit of a journey, but I'll get to that in a minute. But I looked at all the people up on stage, and I thought, one of these days, 3, 4, 5 years' time, I want to be up on that stage. I want to be talking to this audience. That was my goal. 5 years, when I learn some stuff, when I know stuff, when I'm good, I want to be up there. And the other reason why I wanted to be up there, because Luke said that they have a speaker's dinner. And I thought, I want to be part of that. That's cool. That's where the cool people hang out. He said, we talked about stuff that you wouldn't know because you weren't at the speaker's dinner. So, less than 12 months from that day, I was up on stage at WordCamp Brisbane, talking. I couldn't believe it. I went, how good is this? I've gone to my first WordCamp, and less than 12 months later, I'm talking at a WordCamp. I didn't really know much more than when I went to my first WordCamp. The only reason I was talking is because I did this. I put my hand up. Bronson, who was one of the organisers, I talked to him one day after one of the meetups. I said, I'm thinking about submitting a talk. He said, well, do it. Just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. And I did. Then I waited and waited and waited. They kept announcing speakers, and I thought, I'm not getting in, but I did. And it was awesome, absolutely awesome. And I went to the speakers' dinner and got all the cool conversations. But that wasn't enough, because I was looking at all my newfound friends organising a WordCamp. And guess what I said? That looks cool. I want to do that. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years' time. 12 months. 12 months, less than 12 months by about a couple of weeks. I was organising my very own WordCamp with Luke and Miles and Rob. How did I do it? Put the old hand up again. The whole WordPress community is just built on people who put their hand up and say, hey, I'll have a go. So we organised a kick-ass WordCamp. It was successful, we had a ball. In saying that, when I looked at my friends who were organising WordCamp Brisbane and thought they were having a good time, they were smiling when I said I was going to do a WordCamp. It's crazy. 6 months of your life organising one of these things, it's a lot of work. It's not easy. The guys organising this WordCamp, if you see them out and about in the hallways, go and shake their hand, give them a hug, because 6 months of organising one of these, it's a lot of hard work, and nobody gets a cent out of this. It's all free. So, I've got a real respect for anybody who organises a WordCamp now. Now, I mentioned the meetups. I co-organised a lot of meetups. Once again, put my hand up. WordPress Brisbane, WordPress Sunshine Coast, Brisbane Web Design meetup group. How I got involved was Brisbane Web Design meetup group, and Ben, who organises that, every month he'd say, if anybody wants to help out, can you just put your hand up? Any help would be great. And I thought, well, I'd like to help, but I really don't know anything. How can I help? And I thought, maybe I can hold a camera and video the presentation or something like that. So I put my hand up and I said, Ben, if you need help, I'll help. He said, great, I'm going to MozCon next month. You're running the meetup. So I ran the meetup. And we ran it for ages together. and it was good. It took a bit of the pressure off him. And then the WordPress Brisbane meetup needed a hand, so I jumped in and helped them out. And Sunshine Coast, they needed a hand, so I put my hand up. Who's involved in a meetup group? If there's a meetup group in your area and you're not involved, get involved. Go along, put your hand up, whatever. You'll meet some great people, you'll learn some amazing stuff, and once again, they're free. This is the WordPress Brisbane meetup group. You might recognise them. There's a lot of the people in that photo are right here today. Sunshine Coast. When I was doing all these meetups, going along every month to all these different meetups, I found I was doing something. I was networking. Not that kind of networking. That kind of networking. At that stage, I didn't know what networking was. I'd heard the term, had no idea what it was. It wasn't until, after a year or two of doing meetups that I realised what networking was and how powerful it was. I was out there meeting people, forging relationships. I never went to any of these meetups trying to get business. I went to these meetups because I enjoyed the company of the people there. I learnt things. But in doing that, I was meeting a lot of other business people. I was meeting a lot of people, forging relationships and just getting myself known. And my business started to improve. I didn't do any advertising, well, none that worked, except for advertising myself. And I was getting business. And I thought, how cool is that? I'm out there having a good time and I'm getting business. I highly recommend that you don't go to a meetup looking to get business. Just get to know people and let it just naturally flow. Now this photo. I talk about how WordPress changed my life. Here's another way that WordPress changed my life. I had a guy. He said, I need a website. I said, yep, no problem. So I went round. He only lived around the corner from me. So I went round there. He said, yeah, I'm going to be a personal trainer and I need a website. I need a kick-ass website. Yeah, cool. No worries. I can do that. What do you want it to do? Yeah, I want it to do this. I want it to do that. How much is that going to cost me? I said, it's going to cost you about this much. And he went, whoa, fell off his chair. I can't afford that. He said, is that how much a website costs? I said, well, yeah. That's, they don't just appear out of magic. You've got to build them. And he said, I don't know if I can afford that much. He said, do you want to get fit? I said, actually, I do. I've been sitting behind a computer, 12 hours a day. I wasn't really active before I became a web designer, never into sport, and I had a bit of a gut. And he said, look, you build me a website, I'll get you fit. And I started training 4 days a week. If anybody knows me from before I did that, I wasn't like, Michelin man or anything, but I had a big gut, I wasn't real healthy, wasn't real fit. Now I'm fit, and I'm getting better every day. All because of WordPress. WordPress can make you healthy. How amazing is that? WordPress took me to Bali. I haven't got a slide for that, but WordPress took me to Bali on an all expenses paid trip because a client sent me there. How awesome is that? Just recently, I did something else. You might have seen this guy hanging around, taking videos, talking to people. Troy Dean, WP Elevation. I actually had a conversation with Ben one day and he said, your business, if it's not, I said, I'm not real good at the business stuff. He said, you should talk to Troy. And I actually found his website and they only do a couple of intakes. And I waited, and it came up and I joined. And passed the course. It has changed the way I do my business. It's given me structure. It's shown me processes that work. That's awesome. It really is awesome. And I got a photo of me with a certificate of Troy yesterday, so quickly uploaded that to my slides this morning. But the WordPress community is really great. Everybody helps each other. It's a beautiful thing. So WordPress, how's it changed my life? It's made me more confident. I mean, I'm up here talking to you guys. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm doing it. Highly recommend doing it. If you can, talk at a meetup, get to know people, talk at a WordCamp. I've made a lot of new friends, lots of new friends. When I come to a WordCamp, I struggle to get around to talk to all my friends, and I make new ones. I made a heap of new ones at this WordCamp. WordPress is helping me achieve my goals. I set goals now and I achieve them. I don't just go, one day I'm going to do this. I do it. And now it scares me because I say I'm going to do something and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. My next one is to actually get to a WordCamp in another country. That's my next goal. I've got healthy. WordPress made me healthy. I know, you laugh, but it has. And I've got a job that I love. When I worked in the factory, I hated my job. You know, when you get up in the morning and you just don't want to get out of bed because you've got to go to that job? I get out of bed now, I jump straight on my computer and I'm coding. And I'm smiling. I love it. So, in short, WordPress is awesome. It's changed my life for the better, and it's a piece of software, and it's free. That's how WordPress changed my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sharing, Ricky.
No worries.
Do we have any questions? Would anyone else like to share a similar tale of WordPress awesome? Oh, you're always at the back. I'm going to bring this here. No. We need to repeat it for the video.
Hey Ricky, have you had any experience with web before you started working with WordPress?
With web?
Yeah,
yes.
with websites in general.
Yeah. So in 2006, I think it was, I bought a book, How to Code HTML and CSS the right way, or something like that. And I taught myself HTML and CSS. So from about 2006, I was coding websites. But they were very basic and not very good.
We'll come here first and then over to you.
Hi Ricky, thanks for your talk.
Thank you.
I've just started doing WordPress in the last 3 months as a freelance developer, and I was just wondering what sort of things would you recommend that I sort of concentrate on learning? I know a little bit of CSS at the moment, a little bit of HTML. Like what would be the next step for me? Your recommendation, I suppose.
Well, it all depends what you want to do with WordPress, but I mean, the HTML and the CSS, obviously the CSS to style themes and make WordPress look awesome. It's built on PHP, so if you can learn PHP, you can really tweak the theme and the back end and make it bend to your will. There's a lot of talk of learning JavaScript going forward. It's not a bad thing to learn. But yeah, just get in and play with it. Just build a couple of dummy sites and see what you can do with it. But that's what I mean. That's where I'm going at the moment. The PHP side of things is really helpful. But yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Ricky. Really inspirational. It's not really a question. It's more, I noticed a lot of people don't belong to meetups and they might not know how to find them, and it's just Googling meetup.com. And there's not only WordPress groups, it's absolutely everything that you can think about. So.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So, yeah, if you look for Meetup on Google, there are lots of groups. I mean, you can go skydiving and drink coffee at the same time. I'm sure there's a meet-up for that. But I go to all the techie ones, but I've also started going to the business networking ones. They're really good, for networking, obviously. But there's also a lot of ones that will just get a niche market sort of thing for you.
Thanks, Ricky. I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you very much for such an inspirational talk, and it certainly encouraged me to come to more meetups in Brizzy. So I'll see you there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.